on the track. what's on the track. You 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 on the track.
All fair and love and war. Upgrade your life up with a real nigga, no lanes for sure. I'm about my coin, get heads and tail, y'all flop, but I prevail. My grind stay on 100, y'all know 50-50. You cuss these hoes are shifty, can't fuck with me. All fair and love and war. Upgrade your life up with a real nigga, no lanes for sure. I'm about my coin, get heads and tail, y'all flop, but I prevail. My grind stay on 100, y'all on 50-50. You cuss these hoes are shifty, can't fuck with me. No, I'm a different breed. A guy for show, I'm into you, but this you into me. I shoot my shot, I play my cards, but no, I never fold. My heart been cold, but since you run the temp on up and go, take time, shit moving slow. This ain't no fuck, I'm trying to let you know. I'm trying to put a ring on it, big boulder bling on it, dip your shoulder thing on it. Take trips and show you, walk it up and go, don't think on it. My cinnamon apple, my honey, do you sweet on it? I lick between you.
Boring,
a
boring,
bad thing? Not at all.
No, it should be expected. I think it's something that us elders should definitely warn or, let them know that it's going to happen. Because children and life and work and school happens. And when it's all happening at the same time, yeah, it can get really boring. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But again,
You taste so sweet, shawty. You everything I need, shawty. Please believe, shawty. You take my breath, oh gee, shawty. I can't breathe, shawty. I'm asthmatic with you. Let's go paint a future, bigger picture with them cars, rings, rocks, shoes, clothes, house, kids, white fence, whoa. Big bills paid too. Worries got none about you. Never switching, making you my missus. Sending X and O's, the hugs, the kisses. Arguments, you know they're gonna happen. Call you baby even when I'm spazzing. Love and war. Upgrade your life up with a real nigga, no lanes for sure. I'm about my coin, get heads and tail, y'all flop, but I prevail. My grind stay on 100, y'all on 50-50. You cuss these hoes are shifty, can't fuck with me. I'm fair and love and war. Upgrade your life up with a real nigga, no lanes for sure. I'm about my coin, get heads and tail, y'all flop, but I prevail. My grind stay on 100, y'all on 50-50. You cuss these hoes are shifty, can't fuck with me.
All right.
What up, y'all? Can you hear us? Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. You might not hear the soundboard tonight,
Let us know.
but let us know if you guys hear us. and then we'll get to the soundboard after that. But how you guys doing
Well,
out
happy
there?
Tuesday. Welcome.
Hope
welcome.
y'all doing good. Shout out to
Appreciate y'all.
everybody pulling up and checking in.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear us? Are we hearable?
Let's see.
I
Sounds
think
like
we
we
are
can
here. I
hear
can go
you.
ahead and
I can hear you. Nice
work
voice,
up.
sir.
Nice. Thank you.
All right. Come
Appreciate
on
that.
now.
That's what's up.
Come on, Mr.
Okay.
MC,
Hope everybody is doing good. Hope
Master
y'all
of
had
Ceremonies.
amazing start of the week. We are the tribe.
Yeah, our brothers in here.
You already. I see him.
Miss y'all, man.
Y'all let me know if y'all can hear the soundboard or if you only hear us through the microphones. We're going to go ahead and get to the pleasantries first today. Moderation Gang is in the building. I see Cuteness up in there.
All right now.
See
Rocking that
Lady
Red
Voa
Star
up
brand.
in there. Okay.
Shout out to cousin.
Word up. Shout out to my cousin Flip. Shout out to everybody from the Ave. Shout out to Red Star. Amazing brand, a little expensive, but you know,
good
we
quality.
like it. That indeed, we like it. Shout out to
Definitely
Donique on the check-in. Lady Navoa sending
Hey
them
now.
hearts up. Y'all put those hearts up and those hundreds up.
Yes.
Send the algorithm out to people. Let
Y'all
them know what's
50,
going on in here. We got some conscious parenting info
Yeah.
to share with you guys today. Donique is in the joint, one of the sponsors of the show. Heavy supporter.
Appreciate you.
Always showing support,
Welcome,
showing
everybody.
love. Almond Eyes in
Hey,
the
love.
building. Lioness
Welcome.
is showing up and showing out. Peace to the gods and the earths. Bronze Flat Power God in the building. You already know.
Welcome.
Today's math is understanding cipher. Build on the 85ers. Y'all need it. Johnny Blaze in the building. What's popping? Hope you're doing well.
Appreciate you being back.
Good start of your week. AJ in the building.
Hey,
our
brother.
guy. That's
Hope
what's
all
up.
is well.
Soundboard, audio, check.
Okay.
All right.
I wouldn't have to do that all night.
Sounds good. I know, right? You're definitely.
I would.
That's what's up. We appreciate it. Sarah's on the check-in.
Hey,
she
Sarah.
said, "Hey, everybody.
Welcome.
What's up, sis?
Yes.
How you doing? We got the
I know
clip-on
y'all input
mics tonight.
is
so
always welcome.
hope y'all enjoying these clip-on mics.
Yeah.
How you like?
I feel a little
clip-on mic? How you
weird.
doing?
You know, I'm used to holding that mic.
Ooh, rock it.
Nothing wrong with rocking the mic. I'm just
Jesus
saying.
Christ.
Shout out to Take Heed.
She
To
is
the message,
starting
my
early
sister.
tonight. Goodness.
I'm just saying.
I'm messing with her. I'm gonna leave it alone till the
I'm
next
used
time.
to holding on.
Too easy right now. Too easy right
now.
now. I'm gonna wait till later. You know what? Maybe I'm not gonna wait till later. Let's just go ahead.
I get to touch on you more. They might not like it.
Yeah.
My hands is usually
Jesus
wrapped around
Christ.
my.
So how was everybody's week? If you
Weekend.
guys seen the title, it is When Parents Disagree, because sometimes they disagree.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we respond? How do we react? And different strategies, tips, and scenarios of how it could be preventable and what you can do if it arises. So, you know, I thought it was
And being proactive
interesting.
instead of reactive, right?
Absolutely.
That's the biggest part. Having those what if conversations before the kids, during the pregnancy. You got 9 months to build, whether you together or not. You know, you got to build on what you think is right and wrong, how we're going to feed this child, breastfeeding or bottles, and what kind. It's a lot of information that needs to be built upon, especially with those two people, you know, and keep that building going, because being reactive is going to be harmful for not just y'all, but the baby, the little people, them screaming and the carrying on.
So, like the title says, when parents disagree, because you think of some things that, you know, potential couple, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case may be, but some of the things that they may disagree on.
Oh my goodness.
As you know, family matriculate,
religion
matriculates,
whether it's present or not, you know, that definitely can be an argument if it's not discussed, right? Because when the baby is born, you want to either be baptized, christened, or you know, that.
Absolutely.
School, if you're rushing back, you know, you got your maternity leave,
Gotcha.
Usually men here in America don't have paternity leave. You know, if they
Right.
got time, then they just got time. But
I would say discipline in the children.
discipline.
We may see,
Right.
we may not see eye to eye on
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Sometimes,
That needs to be like a main conversation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because you need to know how we gonna handle these things.
Gotcha.
You know.
Y'all let us know in the
Yeah,
chat. What are some
yeah.
disagreements? What are some things that a couple may disagree on when it comes to, parenting? Because, like we noticed when we were doing this. Shout out to Brother Ricky on the check-in, man. Hope all is
Welcome.
well. Something we noticed while we was looking at this is just they talking about kids or they talking about grown-ups on here. 'Cause we thought it was supposed to be about the kids. We started looking at each other like, this shit, they talking about grown-ups. It's really hard to differentiate between, behavior
Right.
and
Definitely
whether it's
behavior.
right, organic, or is it learned behavior, taught behavior, so on and so forth.
Mhm.
But again, I went into my PowerPoint bag
It's been working.
and
appreciate it.
came up with something
Yeah.
that I want to run through with y'all. Shout out
Definitely
to
gonna
Red
hold
Lipstick
some
Vibes.
classes.
Shout out to Mrs. She Said, always
Appreciate you.
providing the inspiration and nothing
Looks
fancy,
good. Good.
but information nonetheless.
Mhm.
10 common parenting issues and ways to deal with them.
Okay.
If you guys want to check out where I got this information from, and we gathered, it's in the description, of course.
Mhm.
We
On
try
top
to
of
do
the
a-
experiences.
Indeed.
Real life experience.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But the link is in the
Good idea.
description. Please check it out.
Hey,
Shout out to
Karma
Karma on the
Cole.
check-in. What
Hey,
up, sis?
Karma
Hope you're doing
Corleone.
well.
Welcome,
She says she
welcome.
listening as she drive. Please drive safe. And we again, it's Tuesday, so it's
Yeah.
Conscious Parenting Tuesday,
Mhm.
and we are gonna run through some strategies, tips, so on and so forth
That
on
may help you.
how to deal with disagreeing.
Right.
when
Some
it-
you may know.
Mhm.
Some may help you. Some you may notice that you struggle in
right.
and can, self-reflect and regroup and hopefully change behavior is the outcome we're all looking for, because, with our changed behavior, it's better for our children.
See?
It's best for us to get along, even if we don't like each other, even if we don't love each other. It's hard to do, but, some shit you got to suck up. That's where the selflessness comes in when it comes to our children. If they're really just a bad freaking person, then of course, by all means, you're going to have to alienate them away.
Indeed.
Shit.
Indeed. So, like it said, there's common problems that happen in raising families and raising children.
Yeah.
And then there's ways to deal with them. So we're going to go through the common things that arise
Mhm.
when it comes to, raising a family, having children, and the different things that may pop up, and, go from there. So the first one is digital device time.
Right.
The very first one
Okay.
is the time that we spend on digital devices. And one of the parenting issues or parenting questions that all parents need to decide is how to handle how much time their child gets to spend on devices.
Mhm.
Also, important dilemmas that parents could disagree about are when children are allowed, to start using the device
and what they can watch.
Right.
Yeah.
So common.
Yes, you definitely have to agree on that. A lot of the things you should agree, and it really shouldn't be in front of the children.
Okay.
A lot of these conversations should not be in front of the children. But when you set rules for the children, of course, they should be there.
Mhm.
But when you know you're going to be in conflict about the decision, they see that. You know what I mean? And they know how to manipulate. Let me
Indeed.
tell you, they learn y'all very well. But that can be a struggle for people, because some parent may not want them to have the devices at all, and one may feel that it's beneficial, and it keeps them occupied because I have so much to do, and
Mhm.
This, that, and everything else. So the age to give it to them or not, when to give a phone or not, like those things can absolutely be an issue. Who pays for it, especially if y'all co-parenting separately in different
and not
homes.
dealing with that one pot. Shout out to my brother Hank,
Yeah.
man. If y'all not
Dealing in that
invested
one
in
pot.
one pot, then
Yeah.
who pays for it is definitely going to be something that's an issue. Could
Right.
be something that's disagreed upon. What do you
Yeah.
guys think out there?
Yeah. I mean, and children need to understand what's a need and a want.
Mhm.
You know, what's a necessity and what's something that's a privilege.
Absolutely.
You know, and those things are definitely privileges. You ask me, 16, you get you a job, you can pay for your own phone. How about that?
Damn.
Yeah, laptop is
Jesus
different.
Christ.
Shit.
Goodness gracious. Number 2.
Yeah. Ooh, eating habits, y'all. Eating habits. Children often love to eat junk food, and if parents are not in agreement on the rules about it, quarrels can happen. This can lead to parenting difficulties, disrupting peace within the family. One parent might be trying to enforce a healthier regimen and stick to the schedule regarding meals and how much a child needs to eat, while the other could see that as excessively strict and want to be more lenient.
Mm.
Yeah, that's very important. Like I said, these children learn to manipulate parents and they can manipulate you against each other, especially if you're people who are looking to gain your attention from your children in that form of, you know, I'm better, you know, I want you to want me more or be
Right.
with me more, that type of competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah, competition.
Absolutely.
Competition.
I mean, and
You say
again,
there's no competition.
this is, you know, where that hierarchy comes in, because there's no ifs, ands, buts, or anything else in between of who the dietitian is in this family, who instructs us on health and nutrition and puts the things on our plate for us to eat, and that is you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it should be. But in the beginning, if the man is more conscious of the proper eating habits than the woman, you know, she's kind of learning from them. I learned from you. You know, I grew up in poverty, so I didn't have access to all of that. So to come across a man who required some some fruits and vegetables, you know, and it was something I didn't, you know, understand? So you kind of led the way in that. So it wasn't always me, but now I'm fully in charge. You know, we growing our own stuff, you know. So yeah, I agree. But yeah, ladies, it's definitely very important, you know, because once you're home with the kids, and I would suggest that that's the better route. Handing your children over to somebody else is unique in this day.
Nutrition
And
is important.
hopefully we would start to begin to change the mindset and get back to mothering our children a little bit more, you know, spending more time with them. We know we got to work and all those things, but that time is very important. I'm telling you. 3, temper tantrums, temper tantrum handling.
Mm-hmm.
A few things can aggravate a person as much as a temper tantrum.
A parent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A child saying no, screaming, and dropping to the floor can irritate even the calmer of parents. How to handle a child having a temper tantrum is often a point of dispute between parents. What do y'all think about that? That is often a dispute. Temper tantrums, y'all, because
How
they
to
have
handle it. Some people may say time out. Some people say, you know,
Whoop 'em.
strict tone. Some people say, yep,
Spank 'em.
corporal punishment. Some people say, you
stand
know,
in the corner
yep. So depending,
or try to stand in the corner.
but, you know, different strategies
Sit
are
on-
needed,
yeah.
and how to handle it is
Mhm.
going to be, you know, something that needs to be discussed. Like everything that's on this list, it's going
Right.
to be a conscious discussion.
Yeah, and I mean in age too, right? Because tantrums can have 6-year-olds can have tantrums. You know, when we hear tantrums, you think of toddlers, right?
Right.
But some kids, if you've never regulated it, they learn how to manipulate, right, and get their way. It worked for them.
Indeed.
It's something they're gonna carry on a little longer. You know, I see some big kids have tantrums too. Y'all see them? You know, it's getting to the point where some of our kids are actually harming their elders. Shout out to the prison doctor. He's out there going from state to state, city
Shout out
to
to the
city,
prison doc.
rolling up in the homes. You know, retired cop. You know, doing the work. Some of these kids need to be yelled at. You know,
He is
some
starting.
resources.
He is starting some.
However, but he's
But it's
definitely
very necessary.
yeah, it's definitely necessary. A male form of a super nanny, but in a different kind of
But
way.
again, shout out to Sis on the check-in.
Yes.
Red Lipstick Vibes, where the
Welcome,
vibe is
sis.
always positive. What up, sis?
Mhm. Sister Sarah has some chimes in on things of dispute.
Okay.
Yeah, what schools they attend. See
is
that?
true.
Yeah, that can be an issue.
Absolutely.
What city, what county, You know, I went to this school and it was good enough for me, so it's good enough for my kids
Absolutely.
now. But I want to pay for
Wants
my
to
kids to go to
pick it up
charter
safe.
school.
This
And,
one is safer. Yeah, we
Yeah,
want them
yeah.
to be in a more
It can be
structured
an issue.
environment. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And she also said bedtimes.
Bedtimes. Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah. You know what I think one of the biggest ones is sleeping in the bed.
Okay.
Kids in the
Letting
bed.
kids sleep in the bed with mommy
Yeah.
and daddy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna stop a lot of action.
I mean, some of
That's
them
gonna
do it
stop a lot of
to.
action.
Some of them do it for that
To
reason.
stop the action.
Yeah, absolutely. You
God damn.
ladies, you know.
Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
Just
Let's
looking.
talk about it.
So what y'all talking about bedtime? Doggone it.
Them tantrums.
But you know, look at so far, you
Mhm.
know, like I said, when we looked at this, we like they talking about grown-ups or kids. Digital
Mhm.
device
Time,
time.
right? Yeah, you ain't
And
gotta
like,
keep
you know, I
control over
didn't set it up. I should have set it up, right?
Yeah,
You might wonder how couples manage parenting
when
when they disagree.
Okay.
Well, it is important for the parent to note that the child needs both parents.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Irrespective of the fact that there are differences between you two. Absolutely. Got together to create this life.
Mhm.
Yeah. Although parents will never agree on all of the parenting issues 100%, you should still try to take notice and resolve the majority of them. There are ways to resolve those parenting issues and act as a united front. First, let's look into what are some of the common parenting disagreements.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And like we said, are we talking about kids,
Kids or
digital
adults.
device time,
Okay.
eating
habits and
and
temper
tantrums?
tantrums. Disobedience.
Keep going then. Let's keep going.
Let me
What's
tell
right
you,
there?
I'm 47. I'm still afraid my mama gonna whoop my ass. Let me tell you,
Jeez.
that fear is still there. Okay, mama.
Shout out to mommy. Hey, mom.
Play it.
Hope
She'll
you're
check
doing
me
well.
quick.
Blaze on the check-in. What up, Blaze?
Welcome.
He said peace and abundance, family. Shout out to everybody. And shout out to you, my good brother.
Disobedience, man.
Yeah, that may be something they disagree on, right?
Oh, but how to handle the temper tantrums? Is it just a discussion? We'll get some tips. I chose to have a tantrum. You know, when they were little.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You want to put a mirror up?
Absolutely.
Here you go.
Oh my goodness.
Bam.
Yes.
What do you
Yes.
look like?
So if I tried to get them to do something for me and they kind of rejected, you know, I'll do the full thing. Like, this is how you look, you know, and they'll look at me like, why is she doing that? Like, get up, you know.
You just told me yesterday you did it in the bank. Like,
Yeah,
can I get some money?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And they say, yeah. Are you, no.
No. You know, just trying to show the kid. Let
See?
security guard know I was going to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
It don't work.
No, it don't.
So
No,
the
at the
temper
grocery store,
tantrums they don't.
plenty of time sitting in the cart, you know, they want to try to have a fit. And it's like, well, I can do that too. You know, I'm get embarrassed. So I'm going to match that energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The mirror
There
is
was times I had to stay outside of Walmart. Madison was a little different. Let me tell you, having a child a little later is different. This one wanted to act a fool with grandma walking into Walmart.
Okay.
And the other kid, I said, oh, no. Y'all continue to go shopping. We ain't going to pay into this right here. No, we stayed and let her scream in the cart like a fool. And I'm like, look how you look. I'm not embarrassed, you know, and everybody's walking by, how y'all doing? You know, she'll be all right. We're going to make our way in when she decides to stop.
Right.
It didn't take long. Yeah.
Number 4.
Try to not do that no more. Disobedience. How to manage a child who is disobeying and saying no. Parents often decide what road to take in this instance based on their own experience and what they think was adequate or not acceptable while they were growing up. Right. It's a self-reflection thing. You know, you took what worked, what you thought may have worked in your childhood, and, you know, recycle it. You might not spank as hard as much, you know, or at all, you know. So absolutely. And some things you might not repeat at all.
But again, how do we get over, you know, disagreeing about disobedience?
I think that's another part of setting standards in the home, right? Rules, right? Responsibilities, and you know what's acceptable and unacceptable. The children learn that from us. Like, you have to give them rules and regulations. You know,
and I don't
you
think
can't
they can be just words, though. I think they have to be written.
We got books upstairs about disobeying, lying.
Understandable.
You
But we
know?
also have family rules and
Absolutely.
charts
Yes.
like throughout
They
the
need to
house
see it.
because it's kind of, if it's just a word, it can be wavering. You know
Right,
what
and
I
they
mean?
don't
What's
know what it
okay
means.
today might be wrong tomorrow and vice versa. So
Mhm.
that's why sometimes it needs to be concrete. It needs to be written out. It needs to be somewhere we can say, like, look,
Mhm.
this is the code of standard right here. This is what we
Right.
agreed to. This is
Mhm.
what's stipulated. And it's not something that's, bendable. And
Right.
it depends. And tomorrow it could be different because it's edged in stone.
Mhm. I mean, and I've always explained to them that we have rules to follow too. You
Mhm.
know, don't think that you, as little people, are the only ones that has rules to follow. Me and
Absolutely.
Daddy have rules, like us being respectful to each other. You having to go to work. I mean, having to, the roles that we play. They have to understand that we have rules when we
Mhm.
driving.
Absolutely.
So every day is a learning moment, and children need to understand that you are under some type of authoritative regulation as well. you know Again, it's about dialogue and conversating with them, and the words that they don't understand, you have to explain it to them. And at times you really have to ask your children, do you understand?
Mhm.
Can you repeat back to me in your own words what you think I'm saying? Because sometimes it gets crossed, like they don't really understand what you're saying, and you think they do because you say it all the
Indeed.
time. But you're not moving like that.
Indeed.
Yes, it's unique. But they learn very well if we're disciplined enough and give them some structure, some rules and regulations. They'll follow suit. Ah, yeah, this
Mhm.
can be an issue. Rewards and reinforcement styles. Parenting difficulties often come as a result of different parenting styles regarding rewards and punishment. One parent might be more prone to forgive and only focus on rewarding good behaviors, while the other believes the child needs to face negative consequences as well. There is no right or wrong solution, only what works for your family.
What you
So you
think
have to
about that?
understand that there is no right or wrong solution, because what works for your family.
Mhm.
And that means creating a healthy
Mhm.
child, because what you think works
Absolutely.
may not be beneficial to the child.
Absolutely.
Um,
And I like that this is where it depends
right.
falls.
Mm,
Again, I don't hate it depends. I just
right, right,
know
right.
that there are specific
Yeah.
nuances and there are pockets where it is
Mm,
supposed to fall.
yeah.
And when it comes to your family and the inner workings of reinforcing negative behavior or
Right.
not, or how you reward positive behavior,
Mm-hmm.
it depends
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the family part is not it depends.
Mhm.
It starts with a family.
Family focus. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's where I wave my flag respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6.
6, managing sibling rivalry. Man, this is unique. Have you had a sibling growing up? Absolutely. How did your parents handle your fights and rivalry? They let us fight it out.
Okay. Okay.
Often we use the model. Often we use the model we were raised with when it comes to making our own parents' choices. This can lead to incompatible standards that parents are trying to implement with their children.
Okay.
Sibling rivalry is unique because parents, act like they treat all their children the same, and they may not favor
Right.
one. But there are books about sibling rivalry, and there is a thing with the baby, the middle, the eldest child. If you have multiples, twins, like there's different characteristics
Right.
that they exhibit. And in our instance, me being the baby and the middle child and the eldest, absolutely. I looked at that book. I said, holy crap. Yep. I'm the baby and I'm the girl. Oh, please forget about it. Lord. Whew, spoiled.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a conscious parenting break. I want to share a screen with you guys, and I want to ask y'all a question about it. Let me share. Let me remove this. Let me set this up. See what you guys think. Mrs. Harris know what I'm going to show, but I want you guys to
Sibling
see.
rivalry. Yeah, we fought it out, man.
Boom. Shout out to everybody pulling up and pulling in. Hit the like button,
Appreciate
subscribe,
y'all.
and share.
We're going to raise our quiet hand and we're going to answer the teacher when I call your name. Okay? All right? Tanaya and Kelly, what y'all doing? What y'all was just doing? Listen, we're going to raise our quiet hand and we're going to answer the teacher when I call your name. Okay? All right? Tanaya and Kelly, what y'all doing? What y'all was just doing? Listen, we're going to raise our quiet hand and we're going to answer the teacher when I call your name. Okay? All right? Tanaya and Kelly, what y'all doing?
She was vetting for her husband. She said, "You look smooth with that hat on." Ma,
Gotta be the hat.
that was me in kindergarten.
Had to be the hat. Parents, is this a call? Does mom get a call? Does dad
Oh,
get
you
a
did
call
ask me that.
about this? Is this just
A
innocent
call?
kids being kids? Is this something different? Sis is looking.
I don't know about a call.
Yes, that's true. The baby and middle always fight. Goodness gracious.
Cats and dogs, child.
So mommy doesn't have to know about this? This is fine?
No, absolutely. But a phone call home now when they picked up, absolutely. Yeah, point them out.
Okay.
Like, she's the culprit. Look at her. She's like, come in, let's lean in.
So is it
I
innocent?
don't know if
Is
it's a
this
phone
just
call. Some would say
innocent,
they
or-
would want a phone call. Why he or she, who did what? Like, nobody's to blame. They're children. They like each other. They're smitten with each other. They learn intimacy through us, right? So I don't
kiss.
like that. I don't see anything wrong, but definitely let the parents know.
Okay.
And however they want to deal with that, I don't think it should be no
Right. It's not a
fight
big,
or brawl,
right.
but
I would hope not.
just be conscious of time together. Like, we don't just hand out foot syndrome.
It's all type of stuff. Kids come home with all type
cooties
of stuff.
and stuff.
Is it the hat though? Is it the hat though, y'all?
Oh, yeah.
Sarah said both parents.
I mean,
need
he
to sit
wasn't.
down with
He
their
like a little
kids and
beret,
talk about
a
this.
little jumpsuit.
She's cute over
You
there.
know,
She cute. She
look
over
at
there
him.
cute.
And look, he ain't all embarrassed.
Oh,
Now they feel bad.
I'm perplexed because I don't know if it. I mean,
Wait, Sarah.
just
Sarah said
innocent.
both parents need to sit down with their kids and talk about this.
right.
I just was
This is
I just got a book from the library, Consent,
Okay,
and it speaks about boundaries and things like that. So something like this between these two children is consent. They both give consent. You understand?
That's
So to some
interesting.
degree,
okay.
they're both consenting. It's not like she's like, get off of me, and he's like, yeah, come here. You know how the little girl
Ooh,
was on the park a
child.
couple videos
Yeah,
last
yeah,
year we
yeah.
played. It was crazy. So it's unique, but those conversations need to be had about consent. They need to be aware. And I've over the years, just even now, talking with mothers, they're very uncomfortable with having this conversation. They don't know where to begin, start, or whatever.
Okay.
Again, the library is your best friend.
Yes,
I'm
indeed.
not even gonna lie.
Shout out to
So
the
many
library.
So many books gave me confidence to speak to my children because I wanted them to have more tools than me because I was that little girl. I remember my first boyfriend in kindergarten. That's when they like pick me. I'm like, shit, well, I was a pick me since elementary school.
Jesus
My friends used to say that you always got a boyfriend. Like,
Jesus Christ.
So it's important to have those conversations. Don't be afraid, ladies. Like you're rushing your children, because I was having these conversations at 3, 4, 5. We have 23 and 18, and they're pretty modest and kept to themselves. They're very aware of their bodies and choose to not, be out in the streets. So, the more they know, I think the better decisions they'll be prepared to make for
Absolutely.
themselves.
Absolutely.
My body, my choice.
Number 7 on common things that parents disagree on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dealing with children's lies.
White lies.
White white lies. White lies are the biggest lies, But yeah, lying is a provocative topic for many. If parents are not in agreement on what to do when they catch their child in a lie, they could be sending them mixed signals and thus intensifying the behavior.
Okay. Would you like to elaborate?
Man, yeah, lying. If you can lie, you can steal, right? You can steal, you can kill. It's kind of stuff we grew up with.
God damn it.
Lie. This is absolutely something very important to deal with your children. Because again, the video we showed before, consent, they have to understand what a lie is and them not telling the truth. And it should be consequences behind them lying.
Mhm.
If they're little, because 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, they lie, right? Did you touch that? Right? And they're like, no, they got the powder all over the floor,
Mhm.
And I used to tell the children, it's not even about what you did. It's about you lying to me. So you're more in trouble with lying to me versus admitting that you did the offense.
Mhm.
You understand? So you really have to do that, but you can't be a damn liar to your kids either.
Absolutely.
Making promises and not coming through, saying
Absolutely.
you're going to do something and don't do it. Stopping them from being honest. You're talking all in their face. And they're like, your breath stinks. Like, how dare you? Now they in trouble because they told the truth that you talking in their face and your breath stink. Like,
I get it.
So we teach them to be liars. So try not to lie to them. That means they ask a lot of questions. Be as honest as you can. And if you don't know, tell them you don't know. Pick up your smartphone, find out, and then get back to them. They might respect you for that. Just saying.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's the, do as I say, not as I do thing.
Yeah.
You don't model the behavior. That's why it's so perplexing for me to see grown people even trying to push a narrative so incongruent.
Mm.
Modeling behavior is important so that, they don't look for reasons to disqualify, for scapegoats, for reasons to blame
Mm-hmm.
their shortcomings, their, foolish behavior, poor decisions. This is what lying creates instead of understanding reality.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot entertain fantasy.
Right.
It happened. You did it. Let's get through it.
Yeah.
You took my birthday gift. You need to get older. I love to hear grown people and I hear grown people talking about
now,
it.
You 3-year-old, you
recently,
accepted this gift. I expect you to not.
Children and their behavior and leadership from the bottom and all of this stuff. But you accepted my birthday gift to say that you was going to be 12 now and not 11.
Mm-hmm.
And now you want to revert to acting 11?
Right.
Nah, let's stay in reality.
Growth every year.
Because on your birthday, you was really, willing to accept those gifts and presents.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep that same energy. And again, this is where Fantasy Island comes in, because
Right.
a lot of parents don't stop them. Don't stop another adult. This is where we're in our lives. Like, how many of y'all adults gonna sit by and watch other adults just make horrible decisions on your life? And you just sit idly by and do nothing. It's moronic. And it's how we got here, by entertaining little white lies and making everybody think that, this is Fantasy Island, and it's not.
Mm-hmm. And children learn that early. They in school and they're learning 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade the difference between fantasy and reality. And it's something that we have to hone in really strong on as parents, because they're growing up and they're not going to be little forever.
Absolutely.
And you want them to be prepared. There's so many things out in that world that can hurt them, harm them, distract them, manipulate their thoughts. So foundation needs to be really solidified here, and it takes dialogue, takes vocabulary and language and definitions, and they really need a vast understanding. you know, and we need to be the ones to give it to them, you know.
Absolutely.
And that takes parents to be present. You really need to be present
And
to do that.
conscious.
And conscious. Yeah. Some parents are present and they're not conscious.
I mean, you could
Very
be here all
present.
you want if you're not
Absolutely.
aware of what's going on, you're not
Yeah.
comprehending and
Yeah.
you know, making sense of things and even knowing how to circumvent and work around, manipulate and
Right.
get in front of the system.
Mhm.
These things take consciousness. It's not plausible deniability ain't gonna do it. Spaciness ain't gonna do it. I don't know what's going on. I just got here.
I
Don't
can
know what
see
you're
the
talking
kids
about.
do it.
No, be
Do
aware
it,
of your
yeah.
surroundings.
Yeah. Mm.
Be aware of how unaware everybody else is of their surroundings.
That's a regular thing. I mean, and that's something that was like really honed in my head. And when I think about what side of the railroad I got it from, it was more so the men. You know, and I think they were more aware of what could happen to me out in that world when I'm not with my, you know, with stair-stepper kids. I'm always with my brothers. I always had some protection. So as I started to get older, now you walking around by yourself, you know, you a little bit more confident and, you know, be going out by yourself in this neighborhood, you got to be more aware.
Indeed.
So, you know.
Number 8.
Forms of punishment. The most controversial topic of all. What forms of punishment are allowed in your household and for what behaviors? That's a big one. What to do if one of you is pro and the other is against physical or any type of punishment for that matter. And it's a lot of households like that. We will talk about how to deal with differences in just a moment. Oh yeah. To spank or not to spank.
Absolutely.
Corporal punishment or no corporal punishment.
Not aware of the child's progress.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's something too, you know, parents, each year, you know, with not just always pointing out bad behaviors, you have to praise your children, you know, point out how they have grown throughout the year. You know, I've noticed that you get up and you do this, you know, you brush your teeth on your own. I don't have to tell you to do this and do that. You know, your potty. Once you finish pottying, it's like all the praise kind of starts to dwindle a little, you know? So we got to keep up with that, you know, because they'll be able to better receive when they have to be reprimanded, you know, because they get the praise. But if you're constantly down their throat, you're always doing something wrong. You never notice the little things and they try to do something right. Like, because
that's for me. That's the word. Notice. I noticed. Just like I noticed when you didn't make your bed. I noticed that you've been moving very nice around the house. I noticed you've been helping out and pitching in. I noticed how you've been moving in at work. I noticed how, you know, the people at your job have nothing but good things to say about you. Like, these things need to be noticed, need to be pointed out. Yeah.
And that's always a conversation I had with them on the back end. You know, you take the praise and the compliments, you definitely have to receive the critiques and the criticism too, you know, and that's one thing we don't do. We don't belittle our children and beat them up, beat them down and call them names and stuff like that. But we point out if you're being lazy,
behavior,
you know, and that's just simply not cleaning up your room type stuff. That's laziness, like whatever, you know. That's definitely a discussion that needs to be had. You know, people think they need to wait, but no, you need to be proactive because they grow up really quickly, and then y'all all on the wrong page, and by the time they 3, y'all want to divorce or leave each other.
Jesus Christ!
And it be those little things. It do. I'm unhappy because we're not agreeing. You know, I want the child to, you know, love me, and I don't want them to be spanked, and I don't want to tell my child no. And some people are like that. Yeah, and it's a problem because a man is like, a child can't be running all over you. Goddamn, man, I'm hanging all over you. When you say get down, you get down.
Exactly. And I mean, and look at 2024. We're having the same conversation about our families, about our women that, you know, they do it with who they can do it with, and you got to control them. And I told my last man, you let me get away with it. That's why I did it. And my new man, don't do it. You should blame yourself. Like, this is what I hear when I'm listening. And it's like, are we talking about our children? We talking about our children, huh?
Yeah.
You're going to do it with who you can do it with.
I be feeling like I'm listening
like
to
our children.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
They try it with who they can get away with it.
Can't listen too long sometimes.
And this is probably why, you know, people get the results that they get. They get these people in their face all of the time because they can do it with them. They can
Mm.
pull the bullshit with them. They can be
Okay.
hyenas with them. They don't get banished. They don't get, you know what I mean, abolished. They don't. Yeah, I was
Daddy
about to go in.
finger.
I was about to go in. You know, I was about to go.
Listen, it's a
Is
big finger.
you put up with it, it will continue. So
Listen.
number 9, Mrs. Harris.
Oh,
I
man.
digress.
Yeah. This one. Approaching, complaining, and whining kids.
Holy smoke. I know them.
Yes. All children seek attention and use different methods to achieve that goal.
Wait,
okay?
you're gonna have to read
Children
that one
or
again. We
adults?
talking
Wait.
about children, right? Oh, who we
Amazing.
talking about?
And it does sound like adults too. Damn, y'all. I don't want to see no goddamn cash at me for my birthday if your ass still walking around acting like a child.
Ooh,
And yeah,
damn.
it's amazing.
Damn.
We still got signs from when our babies were small that says no whining zone.
Damn.
I'll play that shit. All children seek attention and use different methods to achieve that goal. Some children complain and cry, and this can be annoying to parents. Some really do some stuff. This instrumental behavior has a purpose, and parents need to form a united front if they want children to use less of it. Together, you can agree on how to handle the situation and remain consistent so the behavior decreases. It really won't last long if you guys are on the same page.
That unified front came up a lot so far, maybe 2 or 3 times. Unified front.
Yeah.
What you think about that? What y'all think about that? Unified front.
Mm-hmm. It has to be. I've seen this, maybe because I was the baby and I got to see parenting skills from my peers very young,
Okay.
and I seen all of the conflict.
Mhm. Yeah, they don't have the ability to do that.
I mean, when you're homework and I hear
Mhm.
you on the phone and
Mhm.
I can hear them through the,
Mhm.
whining. They sound like children.
Mhm.
It's amazing. Uh-huh.
But you got to have unity in order to have a unified front.
Yes, you do.
And the relationship potential, even getting together is hard. It's going to be hard for them to be unified because they don't even understand how important it is, how powerful it is.
Mhm.
Like when they see that you got backup,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
y'all
mean-
know I'm here for,
Mhm.
y'all know me and her. Like who you think I'm, oh, you thought oh, go ahead, finish.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know that's your mama, right? Like, and this is what they don't get, and they don't have that humbleness. This is why, I'm gonna keep waving my flag because they don't get out your own way. You
Yeah.
gotta understand that this is the person. The
Mhm.
babies came out of you.
Yeah.
Who else I'm gonna give this loyalty to? Who deserves the next girl
Children.
deserves this
Mm-mm.
loyalty, this unity, this unified front for somebody else after she? Nah, here's what we gonna do. It's me and her. Before it was y'all, it was me and her.
Yeah.
We always
Respect.
been cool,
Yeah.
respectfully.
Yeah. And we're not gonna allow y'all
And
to cause
y'all ain't gonna stop it now.
Y'all thought y'all was
Man.
gonna get in between us?
Oh,
Our children?
nah, you're not gonna
Nah.
do it. And they don't
Nah.
understand that the best thing you could do for a child is be good to their damn parent.
Mhm. I mean, and they reap the rewards now. They see it, Yeah. United front. I mean, even to the point where, did you ask your father? Did you ask your mother? Y'all better check with each other. So while they was little, we lived in apartments that had close vicinity, so it wasn't that far of yell. It wasn't like I had to do too much. It's like, did you say they can have that? But it's like, I don't have to answer to your authority. You understand what I'm saying? Like, but you can't come to me and say, Daddy said something, 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 and I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I'm not. I might even yell, yo, babe, you said they could so and so? Yeah. or no. And if they say no, they came and lied, or they get in trouble. Ain't no spanking, but I'm
Back to
definitely
the other one
yeah.
up there.
Oh, you
The
lie.
little
You
white
lying on your
lies.
father now? Ooh. And I mean, and the shame that they feel for that, because now you trying to cause a wedge between me and daddy. Do you understand what you just did? You lied on daddy and said that he said you can do something or not. And you came and told, now what if I let you do it? He's going to be upset with me because I didn't check with him and vice versa.
Now I'm in trouble.
Now,
Jesus.
you in trouble? I'm in trouble. What's going on here? But in a marriage, even at adults, you know, two people sharing a life, you don't think that you can be in trouble, right? You know, but you know, that's a problem. It's going to cause a problem. And as these kids get older, it's going to be more of a problem. A united front is what they absolutely need to see.
Absolutely.
You know, respectfully.
Absolutely.
You know.
We got to stay together in order to stay unified.
Yeah.
After the baby comes.
First thing most of you parents need to do, you couples, don't hit below the belt. You can argue, debate, discuss things heatedly, but the name calling,
be passionate.
yeah, you know,
could be
name
passionate.
calling and things like that. Don't think they don't hear you through the doors. You could be screaming into the phone and out in the hallway, just any of that stuff.
And guess why you're doing it? Because you don't have the words to articulate how you feel.
Yeah.
It's the only reason you're raising your voice and you're using
Potty
curse
talk.
words and you calling people out their name because you don't have the words.
Mhm.
Or you don't want to be honest. But
Yeah.
you need to be. This is your family. These are the people who you can be honest with. These are the
They
people
should,
that
right?
do want to see that matriculation out of you. This is how we grow as a family, by seeing daddy used to fly off the handle immediately.
Mhm.
Daddy don't fly off the handle immediately no more. He
Right.
waited a couple of minutes,
Mhm.
then he goes.
Right.
And then it's like, well, you know, Pops is handling it different now. It's
Mhm.
and it's the
And it
same
should
matriculation
change.
with the
Yeah.
kids and the missus, and we all watch each other grow. And this is, you know, I don't know if this is what they be trying to matriculate or articulate when they say it, but this is why the day one dads, the stay at home 365, and not I mean stay at home not working. I mean
Right.
live at home with the
Right.
kids, and the
Mhm.
kids wake up to them and can eat a bowl of cereal with no shirt on and all of that.
Mhm.
That's really important.
I agree.
It's hard to have that hands-on quality when you're hands-off, when you live down the street or somewhere else.
Mhm.
It's
Other city,
so
other
why
state.
sacrifice that? Why raise the percentages of your child being whatever on the list?
Mhm.
Because that's all we saying is that the percentages go up. Once daddy leaves the house, things are gonna happen.
Mhm.
Could be positive. You could have a LeBron James or Shaquille O'Neal in there,
Right.
but the percentages say,
Yeah.
keep that man in the house. Stay in the house with this woman, sir. Work those things out. Unify that front. Love each other.
Mhm.
And this conscious parenting is, you know, one of the most conscious decisions that I made is to love you.
Mhm.
It ain't always gonna be sunshine.
Yeah.
It ain't always gonna be we up, all the way up. Some days it's gonna be we gotta
all the
sit
way
down and chill out, have a cup of coffee, and just build on something or just watch
Months and
Netflix.
years.
But you know, we take it as it comes, and with that consciousness, because we know it get greater later, but it get worse first.
Mhm.
What you think?
They're not ready for the worst first. And it'll happen with these not being able to understand the conflict in family and with raising kids and making these decisions and being proactive and not reactive. And women, ladies, we're more reactive. Don't avoid these conversations because you're not going to like what you want to. You know, you're not going to hear what you want to hear.
I got you.
You know, that's important.
Okay.
That was a good slideshow. You got more in there?
Yes, it's a few more in there.
Welcome to Realist McCoy. Welcome. Appreciate
Shout
you
out
pulling
to
up,
you.
popping
Thank
in.
you for popping in.
We
We
got some tips
appreciate
and
you.
some strategies for parents.
When parents disagree.
When parents disagree.
We're at number 10 now. There was 10
Yes.
problems,
Mhm.
common problems
Yes.
that parents may disagree on. And then we got a few solutions to go ahead and close this out because the missus got to go and get one of the kids from work later on. So we ain't going to be too long.
Yeah.
And let's go, missus. Number 10.
Yeah, this is something else. 10 grades and studying. The importance of school and good grades is something parents bring from their own home. Children might not be so interested in learning, and parents might have a different approach to handling the situation, leading to issues in parenting. One might think they need to get a bad grade and learn to face the consequences, while the other could be trying to prevent them from experiencing such hard times. Neither is right or wrong. The main question is what works best for this child.
Miss Educator, you want to talk about that?
Oh man, even from the first time I heard of IEPs was, I think before we had Cypher, so maybe 19 years ago. First time I ever heard about it. And I said to the principal, I think all children need cats.
And that's an individualized,
individualized,
plan, right?
yes.
I got you.
Evaluation plan or
Mhm.
assessment plan,
Yep.
yes. And usually they were giving them to children with, special needs or that are in special ed classes and things, or behavioral issues.
Right.
But each child is an individual, and we need to treat them as such. They all do have different learning styles.
Absolutely.
And differences. There's differences between boys and girls. Little boys peak in their testosterone and need more, exertion of their energy versus girls. It is some differences, right? So it is very important individually to know our children's learning styles. And the only way to do that is if we're educating them.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you haven't been doing any type of educating and you thrust a kid into kindergarten, you're really dependent on the school to figure these things out. Right. Because then you have parents who blame the school for the lack thereof, for their child not learning something and this, that, and everything else. And I think that responsibility needs to go back on the parents. We have 5 years before they go into kindergarten. They are very capable of learning to read.
Absolutely.
They really are. By 5, by going to kindergarten, if you put in that work and that time. And if you're starting this early, 5 years ain't much time that you invest in your child. And then once they go to school, if you want to go back to college, you want to work and have a career, you understand what I'm saying? You invested a lot of time so they don't struggle as much going to school. It's hard to teach 15, 20, 25, 30 kids in a class versus having your child already know this stuff.
Indeed.
And just kind of picking up.
Shout out to everybody
information.
pulling up and pulling in. The
Welcome,
realist
welcome,
McCoy,
welcome.
Dr. Nakumbe. Thank
Hey,
y'all
Doc.
for pulling in. We appreciate it. He said, great topic.
Yes,
We
thank
can go
you.
ahead and take that time to reset the room. Appreciate y'all for popping in. We talking about when parents disagree.
Mhm.
And we just ran off 10 common problems that parents may disagree on. And you guys can put any suggestions or, comments that you have about what some parents may disagree on when it comes to, matriculating kids, developing their children, developing their family. And we just went through number 10.
Number 10.
And now we're going to get to
Give a quick overview of the first ones.
10 ways to overcome parenting problems. Parenting can be challenging, but there are effective strategies to overcome common problems. Communication, consistency, and seeking support can help parents navigate difficult situations and strengthen their relationships with their children.
Yes. That's a valued outcome. That should be a valued outcome for everybody. Jeez.
Number 1, Mrs.
1, discuss differences behind closed doors. Your children don't need to hear you arguing and coming up with a solution. Most of the things don't need to be resolved on the spot. I think that's a big one. We look to resolve it on the spot. You're right, I'm wrong. Yeah. Some solutions may take some time, and you might need to think about how you're going to move forward. Tell them you will discuss it and come back with an answer later. This gives you time to talk to each other and decreases the pressure of an immediate response. Can I take dance classes? Mom's like, sure. Dad's like, we ain't got the money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, now we got to have this conversation in front of them, made the promise. Ha. Yeah. Don't be so quick to respond.
Indeed.
Consider the partner's decision-making process as well. Like, we can't be in a quick response with these kids because those are promises. I don't care if you didn't even make the promise. Okay. It's a promise. They're going to keep going over it in their head, and their little heart is broken, and now daddy's the bad guy or mommy's the bad guy. It's a problem.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Number 2.
Agree on rules and consequences before the situation occurs. Being proactive. Yeah. When things get heated, we react more emotionally, and have less capacity to hear the other side and their perspective. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Use the list of the most common parenting issues we talked about above to come up with some guidelines to handle those situations ahead of time. So new parents, present parents, if you're having conflict with any of those things, try to create some strategies now that you're aware. Try to create some strategies now to where you're capable of having this discussion, and you guys can set some common guidelines for the kids. It's not just about you. You're not always right.
Talk about it.
Please, Lord have mercy.
Shout out to Quiet Storm for the
Quiet
Cash
Storm.
App. We appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go ahead and see if there's a message with that, man. Quiet Storm
I'll do a little
on the
dance.
check-in. We appreciate you, brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, raising these kids is it's important to have some type of blueprint. Many of us did not. And it's been a learning process. It's been a great experience, and to be lucky enough to sit here, with three adult children. Very proud.
Indeed.
And we ain't the richest of people, but they're all decent, smart, intelligent, emotionally capable, functional adults, and we appreciate that. For real.
So shout out to Quiet Storm for the $5 Cash App. He said, for a dope live stream, we appreciate you, bro. Get to it.
Can't believe I made it. It's my first time getting money. Where's my money? It's right here. Right there. Y'all can't see me. We getting rich. Hard body youngins. We getting rich together. Yeah. We getting rich together.
Look here, babe, bro. I'm a little light right now. Could you, let me hold some change?
Brothers and sisters, give me your grit money, give me your weave money, give me your perm money, your Jordan money, your Alizé money, your 40-ounce money. We need the money, brothers and sisters. How about you hit the Cash App?
Shout out to Quiet Storm, man. We appreciate you, bro.
You all appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Give me your weave money, your eyelash money. Where we at?
You won't be able to predict all the factors that contribute to a particular situation. However, you can have some general rules you both are following to guide you with the problem when the problem occurs. I'm sorry. And you have to react on the spot. So a template, a guideline, just something that even if it's rehearsed, if it's,
I was just look at each other, right?
Indeed.
Can't respond right away, even if it's an instance where they're in trouble or if they're asking for something, right? It's kind of like, okay, well, I'll talk it up with mommy.
We get it.
And we will revisit.
We will get back
to you. Yeah.
Number 3, understand the family history of your partner.
Very important. Very important. Yeah. Yes.
That's a tough one right there.
The family history of
if
your
my
partner.
family history is unique and I might not want to share, I might omit,
shameful, right?
All of that.
Yeah, all that embarrassing.
Could be is this why we break up before the baby comes? This has to come in line. Somewhere down the line, we got to sit down. We got to talk about how we want this family to go. We got to talk about these children. We got to understand our partner's family history. It wasn't easy. You talking about your dad.
I was open though. I wanted to be open.
It wasn't easy. I saw the emotion. I saw the contradiction. I don't care. I ain't care. I don't need him. I don't need him. I don't care. Girl, you need your daddy, girl.
You need your daddy. Stop right.
Niggas alive? Wait, you got one? And the nigga's alive. nah, we gotta look
child.
into this.
I still, even as an adult, couldn't find myself to call him daddy. You would not catch me calling him daddy. Yeah. He's just my man.
Pops too sweet.
Right.
Pops too sweet. Rest in peace, Pops. We
Yes,
miss you, man.
absolutely. Yeah.
Understand the family history of your partner. The choices and decisions we are making daily stem from our core values.
Yeah.
The core values around parenting styles stem from the experience we had when we were young.
Stop being upset with hearing the truth. Go work on your games. Don't get mad at me, nigga. I'm here telling the truth. If somebody else should have told you this.
The more you know about how your spouse grew up, the more understanding you will have for their perspective and why they are pushing for something. This can allow you to remain calm when you disagree and help them understand the difference between now and then. This is happening.
Oh man, the patience we both have for each other because of that. Understanding, knowing, seeing the family dynamic, how we were raised, how we were disciplined, you know, the religions we grew up in, the choices we made in choosing religions and, you know, values and things like that. All those things, it was a lot of conversating. It was a lot of what ifs and, you know, that right there, you know, really digging in and getting to know somebody personally. Because again, your children are half of them, literally. That child can come out and have no attributes or characteristics of you, right? A splitting image, you know, and you can feel robbed. You know, some women can actually be mad, like, oh my goodness, I got the sonogram, 6.5 months or so, came home, was like, this child gonna look just like I wasn't mad, but it was just like, wow, already I can see your whole face structure in here. And our oldest does look like you. And it's a blessing, you know? But that stuff is really important, those hard conversations. Because you will learn. I think most of us do get our parenting styles from how we were raised, whether we took some things and threw some other stuff away, you know. So.
Absolutely what I did.
Yeah.
Number 4?
And we wasn't always on the same page.
Okay.
Let's get that straight.
Yeah.
We was sometimes not on the same page. Absolutely. And had to have these discussions reactively.
They had to get a little deeper. Yeah. They got a little emotional.
Yeah. It was me because I thought I was doing everything right. I have to admit that. I'm a mother. What you talking about? I've been raising kids since I had that attitude. I've been babysitting since whole up. I took classes and all that, you know, but still not trying to negate how you felt your children needed to be raised, you know? So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, we can learn and do better, ladies, right? For the sake of the kids. 4, have a flexible parenting style. I needed to have a flexible parenting style.
Indeed.
And iterate it often. Okay, there is no one size fits all. That's our motto. There is no one size fits all when it comes to parenting. Your style needs to be flexible so it can change as children grow and develop. So it can be applicable depending on the child's nature. Some kids need more structure and rules while others are more obedient. And that's even in siblings. You might have one child that's very obedient and the other one's just always in trouble.
We got 2 that are exactly alike. And then one in the middle that is just, you know,
a little different.
So you got to be able to see the differences, but also understand the commonality. They both came from the same place. So there's going to be some traits. There's going to be some Harris commonalities, some Harris characteristics in there. But at the same time, you know, you got to be able to operate in those fine areas.
And they mimic a lot of our little behaviors, you know, maybe the way we laugh or, you know, walk. A lot of different things.
And again, I think this is where a lot of parents get, you know, grandiose and self-absorbed because they see that them in their child, and they don't want to deprogram that. Right? They don't want to. I don't want to pull that out. No,
she ain't gonna be having it.
No,
nobody.
That's one of the things you absolutely.
Yeah,
it's
see that a lot.
hard to discipline the you out of your child.
Say it again for the people in the back who ain't hearing.
The ones that don't come to class all of the time because they be in the lunchroom all the time, watching them argue and fight.
We've had to say that to parents before.
It's
like,
hard. It's hard to discipline the you out of your child. You know that part of you that is.
Look at
you know it.
That mirror is looking at you.
You know
your
you.
child. Look at you.
I hope you know you. I hope you know you. If you have no idea, then damn, Jesus Christ.
And we need to get out of that with our little girls too. Some little girls have this, real don't fuck with me attitude. Okay. But not like verbal, being disrespectful. But I hear women say, she ain't gonna be having it. She's gonna be tough. She ain't gonna play that. It's a way to advocate for yourself and not. Absolutely, yes. Because our children are not fighters. They ain't no street fighters. They ain't grow up in the hood like us, right? But they can absolutely advocate for themselves.
Just like us.
And
I'm
articulate.
not against the dude, but I grew up in Bed-Stuy. I know I ain't gonna let you beat me up.
Right.
It ain't just gonna be no easy win.
Yeah.
So, just because I don't wave my flag and pound my chest that, I'm fighting every day outside, no, but I still grew up in a certain environment where you had to prove yourself. You couldn't be bullied and you didn't want to be a pushover. So
they got to see you on the court.
It comes with.
So even if it wasn't fighting, they saw that aggression as a man from you on the court. So they know it exists. You just haven't had to do it in a fight.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Number 5, try to comply with the one whose logical approach about the particular topic is best.
Yeah.
When you run across a parenting issue that you have opposing opinions on, your goal is not to get your way every time. Rather, make effective parenting decisions and maintain marital happiness.
And it's not about getting your way at all. It's about what's best for the child. How are we going to get this child's behavior to change? And it's through us.
The parents that disagree. This is about us. That's why they're speaking to us. You know what I mean? Okay. It's not about you, and you don't have to win all of the time. Right. So maybe you can get your way in some things, but keep those things in your mind. This is what, us as men, the ladies have like a goldfish memory. If it's 100 times. And they'll tell you, you did it for me 99 times. And you gonna hold this one against me? Like, come on. Keep it inside your memory bank. Stop changing reality just because things aren't going for you right now. You always do this to me.
Always.
No, I don't.
Always. And you still here?
I didn't mean always. But you said always.
Yeah.
And this is, this is what we up against.
Emotionally reactive.
That unified front comes in again. Remember that. Remember that that's the goal.
I think that's when I tell ladies to learn to, fuck up.
That one. I knew it was coming eventually.
I mean, that was hard. That was a hard one for me. I have to admit that. Yeah. And listen, because I don't want to react emotionally. I'm very emotional. I'm a Pisces. I don't want to react that way every time, hearing something I don't want to hear or I didn't expect to hear it, right? They go expectations. Can't.
Shout out to Brother Ted on the check-in. What up, bro?
Welcome.
How you doing? Hope all is well.
Just trying to be honest.
Y'all make sure y'all put hashtag LIA in there so everybody can go ahead and follow. I'm pretty sure everybody in here is showing love to everybody.
Yes.
This is family in here right now. Yeah.
We have to know. Yeah. We've had conflicts. Wait, I don't think we got the end of that.
We did. Yeah. No, marital happiness is the goal. The unified front.
Bang.
How? Bing bong.
We got it.
Come on. She tried to play me, y'all.
I don't want to get your fucking shine box.
Getting boxed. Getting boxed
like that. You know how I get down.
Put him in the box.
Try to be thorough over here. You know what I mean?
6.
What you got?
Man, leverage your differences. You do not have to argue on everything to be a good parent.
Wait a minute. What you mean by we don't gotta argue every time?
Them my kids. I'm here with them more. They around me more, so I get to say more. I have more say so. I know your kids better than you.
Wait,
This
y'all
kind
let
of shit
them
we-
y'all let them say that to y'all? Wait a minute. Y'all let them say that to y'all?
Child. Yeah. I heard some shit.
How y'all let them say stuff like that to y'all? Y'all be letting them say some crazy stuff to y'all about kids.
Especially around the kids.
And y'all go for it too. I hear you regurgitate it.
Mm.
They say stuff to you like, I have say so because I have a bond with the baby. I carried it for
LIA.
9 months.
You put LIE. LIA.
We hashtag lying up in here. Hashtag a
Hashtag
lie
lie.
up in here.
Lie. Oh my God.
Hashtag LIA, love and abundance. That's gonna get you a link dropped in the chat.
Right.
And Blaze pulled up. He said, "Lord knows we hear my kids far
Yes.
more than our kids. You ain't lying."
I was guilty too. And I had to consciously, and I wasn't doing it out of disrespect. I had to consciously stop doing it. It was hard, you know, even in just conversation. Mine, like, I don't know, hour.
You carried them for 9
All right.
months. I carried them for 9 months. Don't let him tell
That
you
was
that.
never my excuse, true.
Right? No, Mrs. Harris.
Mm-mm.
Because
It
again,
ain't like that.
she know my response was gonna be, but I carried them in mine for 21
I gave
years
them to
before I
you.
met you.
You wouldn't have had them if I ain't gave them to you.
What you talking about?
Come
9
on now.
months? That's all you carried them for? I carried them
Sure.
for years.
And that, you know,
Walking around down here, swimming
you
around.
had to nurse me well to make sure they came out good.
What you
Too.
talking about?
That was a lot.
What you talking about?
Hated my every whim.
We're not doing that.
Gained
Fellas,
70
y'all gotta
pounds.
brighten up. Y'all gotta
70.
brighten up. Stop letting them do that to y'all with y'all babies. They have
Mm-hmm.
the baby has DNA and stuff. You know that? You know half
They do.
is yours and half is
Yeah.
hers. Like, what's wrong with
Some of them, you
y'all?
hear the saying sometimes, they be like, did he spit that baby out? That ain't your baby. That's his baby.
Nah,
Baby
y'all
don't
better
look nothing
stop,
like
man.
You
Don't
sure
let
you the
them-
mama?
They gonna have to come up with better
Gotta
than
ask that
that.
before.
Tell them to get more original than those, though. For real.
And again, if we educate our girls the science, you know, the real
Mhm.
anatomy of the bodies, how all of this is worked, they'll understand that. They wouldn't be so disrespectful as these grown women out here talking about my body, my choice. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
It's not. That seed is mine. It belongs to me.
Right.
I get to have a choice to some
Absolutely.
degree.
And here's
Stop
the
being
thing.
so frivolous with it, and
Everything
wouldn't be
that
a-
happens is I'm the blame.
You to
If the
blame.
baby come out
That's
with any
true.
disabilities, if it's a
Yeah,
boy or a
usually
girl,
y'all-
and you
yeah,
telling me
absolutely.
all this shit about what's yours.
Hmm.
I would again,
Yeah.
y'all let them tell
We only
y'all that,
decide the multiples.
but I would never allow a woman that I'm jumping up and down on top of her too, and she's submitting to me, opening her legs and licking all over me, and I'm gonna let her tell me some shit. Y'all, man.
You know. Like you can instruct them in all kind of other stuff. He could tell you do all kinds of stuff. He can't tell you nothing about them babies. Wait a minute.
And everybody
Didn't I
else,
just-
DoorDash could tell you more than that. But let's keep
Oh, okay.
going.
Leverage your
our
differences. Yeah, you don't have to argue about everything to be good parents. Your differences are important and offer different models and perspectives to your children. That part.
Mhm.
That part. Your differences are important because they have some of you and they have some of me.
Indeed.
So it's very important. Yes. Different is not deficit.
To resolve parenting issues, it is beneficial for the children to have various examples of how something can be dealt with. Parents solving their problems efficiently as a team is what your children need to see.
Yeah. I have to have a football huddle and all that. You know?
Parents solving their problems efficiently as a team is what your child needs to see.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Have each other's back when one is absent. Good luck with that. They talk about you.
Each
They
other's
talk
back
about your daddy.
when one is absent. Yeah, yeah.
Talk about your mama.
Being a parent is a role in life. Okay. However, raising children is something you will do only for a while, after which you are on your own with your partner and kids go on to live their lives.
No, you didn't say that.
Yeah.
Wait, the kids not always gonna be kids. They gonna leave one
I
day.
mean, some of them we raised them to be kids and they do wind up staying home
Well,
forever.
damn.
So yeah, nowadays it's, I don't
Jesus
know, but
Christ.
in our time kids leave. Like we were
Okay.
eager to leave. We
Right.
were that generation eager to leave. We were
Right.
young.
Right.
I'm
I'm
outta
gone.
here.
I was gone before I left.
yeah. I
I
love
was
it.
hardly home.
Excuse me. I'm
Like,
not even 18.
I ain't seen
you
this
know.
nigga in a while.
You know? So yeah. Best advice your grandmother ever gave me. Y'all might hear me say that all the time. They were some cantankerous women, but towards the end of my pregnancy, she definitely sat me down and was like, "Don't forget about him." I knew exactly what she meant because I knew the household.
Yes, she does.
I knew the household. Yeah. He came from, so I made sure of that. Regular bedtime. I got teased for it. I got shamed for our children going to bed at a regular schedule.
At 8 o'clock. You
Even
can
in
tell
the
them what
summer.
time. At 8 o'clock, no matter what, under all circumstances, 8 o'clock.
Yeah. That's the weekend. They got to stay up to maybe 9. But
You
little,
going to
yeah,
bed.
they're going to bed.
4th of July.
Come on.
Good night.
No. We was out 4th of July, most
Good
4th
night.
of July when we did celebrate that stuff.
Number 8.
8, rely on others whose parenting style you value. When you are unsure how to react or what could be the right decision, there are always others you can ask for opinions or suggestions. Turn to people who will share advice but won't enforce it or get upset if you don't use it. People are horrible. You're not going to share with people who do that. Yeah, that's very important, to have people that you value, who you see as good models of parenting, or their style, how their children have developed, whatever that you respect.
Yep.
That you can call on and say, listen, I got some issues going on. I might need to lean on you for a second. Hear me out. Maybe you might have some tips or strategies, that can help. It's always okay to ask for help, gentlemen. It's okay to ask for help. There's other dads. You find a dad too, that you admire, and you get some tips from him, even on how to deal with the co-parent. Because we can all learn something. And anything that can help make our children's situation better, their life a little bit more functioning with love, consideration, and kindness, at least, is important. If mommy and daddy can't get along, for them to be able to raise a child, it's going to be a struggle for them psychologically, because they start to understand the world, and regardless of what you tell them, listen, they're going to have their own assumptions, their own perception and perspective about it, and you may not come in on the higher end, on the pedestal that you expect. Because if they come to me, she said they're gonna hear, you better go talk to your mama.
Number 9, learn from mistakes and forgive.
That's a big one.
Rest assured, you will make mistakes. There is no such thing as perfect parents.
Absolutely.
You should only aim to be a good enough parent who is all right with making mistakes and learning from them. That is the most you can do. And that is more than enough. Forgive yourself and your spouse if a mistake happens.
It happens.
This will save your marriage and set a good example for the kids.
Yes. Absolutely. Again, dialogue, when they do have those issues of crossing boundaries and, doing things they ain't supposed to do, and they have to deal with them consequences. After the consequences, you know, is done, you know, the punishment has been solidified. It needs to be a conversation. You need to build on what happened so it doesn't keep happening, right? Because that's going to keep breaking them down, that they're not good enough. They're not doing something that's, you know, let's create another strategy so that behavior doesn't keep happening. Whether you got to make a chart.
You should make a chart.
Chart making this people,
you should make a chart.
you know, because they get to see it. Again, when they start learning themselves, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, they can start being a little bit more responsible for themselves. So them small goals they need to set. So now they're disappointing themselves, not only us, themselves.
Yep.
And they need to be aware of that.
Absolutely.
But
Well said.
parents, man.
Well said. And number 10.
Don't forget to have alone time. If you want to be able to support each other as parents, you need to have some time alone as spouses. Protect and nurture your couple union, which is going to be your anchor in times of distress and crisis.
Talk about it.
That part.
Talk about it.
Yeah. And that's a part of being that teammate, you know. Teammates don't beat each other up. They may criticize, point out, you know, correct for change behavior, but we don't beat each other up. So in those times of crisis, we're more comfortable to come and break down and say, listen, you know, the struggling day with the kids, man. A lot of conversations that was really fucking heavy, and I might need to ball out, you know?
Absolutely.
You know, you hear the women saying they cry in the shower, we cry in the shower. You do, and it's the thing. You need to get that frustration out. You know, don't take it out on your mate. They didn't do it. We created the kids, right?
That's right.
They mad. Created. You brought these kids. No, you consciously made the choice, and now it's a lifetime responsibility and duty, and it's all on how we, you know, move in it and how we continually grow, because it's a growing process. Nobody's perfect.
Yes, indeed.
Give each other grace. That's important, because if you both are first-time parents, y'all know shit. You don't know. How you know? So it's best to build with each other about, you know, baby could be a newborn baby coming from the hospital, and y'all talking about what happens in kindergarten. You know, how we're gonna, what type of school the child gonna go to. So these conversations are really important. Don't wait until right before a situation happens, and now we want to discuss it. You know?
Absolutely.
And if a daddy say stop putting them tight ass sneakers on the goddamn baby, stop putting the tight ass sneakers on them baby because you want them to look cute with some damn Jordans and some $100 sneakers on. Stop. Jesus Christ. Who y'all trying to prove something to? I never understood that, babe, right? For 40 years they've been putting Jordans on these babies and their feet grow so fast. I used to have to tell people, don't buy my babies Jordans. You know, you can give me the money, I can go to get some Walmart, because they're going to, you know, they need them step shoes, walking shoes, whatever. But we got to make better choices. That's not important. I grew up hearing the men complain, I don't know why she putting them tight shoes on that baby.
I don't even know what tight shoes. You mean like too
tight
small
feet,
for
too
their
small.
feet?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
It's for looks.
Okay. Okay. Got you. Shout out to the tight shoe wearing babies and the mothers that put them on them. Not good. So what did you think of the information that we ran through tonight, baby girl?
I thought you did a good job.
Common parenting issues and how to
we
overcome them.
We had Sarah chiming on a couple. We had a couple people add some things in there.
All right. Let me go ahead and
so
pull it
that
back
was
to the top.
appreciated.
Indeed, man. We
Give
appreciate
a little
y'all.
overview. 10 common.
I think we did pretty good. They can check the replay if
Yeah.
they want to check it out. Drop a comment. But it was 10 common parenting issues and ways to deal with them. I still got you for a couple of minutes, so you know we're gonna have a little bit of fun.
No, I need to go.
Oh, you gotta
I
go.
ain't
So I don't
time.
got you for a little bit. See,
I got to go get my kids.
So we don't have time. We'll come back for coffee and cappuccino later on this week and chill out with you
My
guys.
apologies, everybody.
We appreciate y'all for checking us out. We had to have a short one tonight. The missus got to go and grab one of our big working kids. So y'all know how that go. And remember to do something good for somebody other than yourself. That is when real character shines through. Promote conscious parenting, because that's what the kids deserve. They deserve to have a legitimate chance, a fighting chance, a honorable chance. And conscious parents will provide that. You guys have an amazing week. We will see y'all this weekend for Cerebro Saturday and Shame Sunday. Hit the like, subscribe, share button, drop a comment. Share this to somebody that might like it. Share it to some conscious parents. Y'all be good out there, man. Peace to the gods and the earths.